are you doing, my fascinating Renaissance friends? Before self-help books, before modern psychology, there was Montaigne. Okay, a man who dared to turn inside and write honestly about what it means to be really human. Okay, this is episode 136, and we are still in our October series of bringing out literature from the classroom and as a subject and just old words on a page, okay, and calling from them timeless truths, okay, for living gracefully, wisely, and elegantly. Timeless truths to really live our life, the best years of our life, the autumn of our life, okay? In the 16th century, okay, maybe I'm sure you're asking, who is Montaigne? In the 16th century, Michel Montaigne, okay, pioneered the essay as a different and separate genre in literature, okay, different from Shakespeare's comedies, tragedy, stage play, drama, poems, the poems of Neruda and the poems of Tagore and Dickinson. This is personal essay, all right? And, his essays reflect on fear, okay? I like that, fear, friendship, education, death, and most especially self-knowledge. Then, even in the 16th century where he was born, his words strike similarly modern, isn't it? Sometimes I think modern psychology and self-help books, focus on yourself, know thyself, which is Aristotle, know thyself, he was actually talking about that already. In fact, let me share with you two quotes and three lessons, from some of his famous essays, okay? If you want to know what are some of these essays, maybe you can just Google them. Michel de Montaigne. He's French. Okay, he's considered one of the greatest philosopher and statesman, not just an author, statesman too, and philosopher of the French Renaissance age. Renaissance, friends, okay, is a product of French Renaissance period. Okay? One of the quotes which actually, stayed with me the moment I read that was this: the greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. I say that again. The greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to oneself. Okay, well, this one is not so esoteric. I think this is going to be easy on most of us because it reflects on what the Greek philosophers say. To thine own self be true. That's Aristotle. We talked about that. To thine own self be true. Okay, and if you look at the modern writers now, it says this is authenticity. Be yourself. Do not try to be somebody else. Okay, learn. Number one, to know yourself. Second, learn, to like yourself. Learn to improve yourself. Learn how to live or to belong to oneself. That's what I was saying. This is Montaigne's. I told you before self-help books, before modern psychology, it's him. Okay? Now, the second quote that is related to this, which also resonated with me, is this: a man who fears suffering is already suffering from what he fears. Let me say that again, okay? A man who fears suffering. I don't want to suffer because I want I want the great things only. The man who fears suffering is already suffering, okay, what he fears. Again, this is as modern as you can get. Epictetus said this, okay, what you fear will surely happen. But psychology and research says that 90%, remember we talked about that in philosophy? 90% of what we fear doesn't normally happen. Okay, but we already suffered, fearing, what will not happen 90% of the time. We said that. They're all connected. Imagine that, okay? So let's focus on the three lessons that we can glean, from Michel de Montaigne's, work, as a great atheist. Not atheist, atheist. Okay, he's not an atheist. I don't know if he is, but atheist meaning one of the great proponents of personal essays. Okay. Lesson number one, okay, self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. Self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. Because we cannot be wise, we cannot do good stuff if we really do not know, okay, what it is, that we want, that we have done. We're not even conscious, that we are saying stupid things and believing stupid lies. You have to forgive me, but I just read, or I just watched something on TikTok. It's a true story. Okay. Robert Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is the Secretary of Health in the US right now, okay, together with President Trump, okay, sounded the alarm, okay, because of growing autism cases. Really, worldwide. It used to be very, very seldom that you have autistic cases, and according to research, you have now, an autistic child born for every 10, if not, I think it's 10, or something like that, 10, 20, whatever. So it is that very prevalent. And now the research shows that one of the things, that contributes to that rising cases of autism is taking, I'm not saying bad words about them, but it's all in the press, it's there. You Google it. That one of the aggravating factor is taking Tylenol, okay, during pregnancy. Okay, and so they were warning. They're not telling, pregnant women not to take it, okay? But they're warning pregnant women, okay, not to take Tylenol. And then again, Tylenol actually showed their package, the package of Tylenol, and it's there at the back, not prescribed for pregnant women. They had it many, many, many years ago. Okay? Maybe no one warned them, but it's there in their, in their packaging. And I know that. Even before I became, a senior, I bore 2 kids. All right. That is already there. I know. That's why my OB-GYN never prescribed Tylenol for me. I know that. So what they were just saying is just what? It's just repeating what has been there all the time. But now it's a warning. It's not a contraindication. It's not like that anymore. They actually made it very, very public as a warning. Because autism, is increasing and it should not be. Okay. Now what happened? There are 3 pregnant women. They went to TikTok, filmed themselves, taking Tylenol, and they showed their belly 22 to 25 weeks pregnant. Why are they doing that? Because they hate Trump. Because it was Trump who announced it. Okay, their hatred for Trump, okay, made them film themselves, okay, taking Tylenol to prove, okay, Donald Trump and Robert Kennedy wrong. Okay, 3 or 4 days after another TikTok, okay, news, a very distraught husband whose wife is 22 to 23 to 25 weeks basically there was rushed in the emergency and is now okay rushed in the emergency in how do you call that respirator. He's in ICU because of liver failure, and she is going to die according to her doctor because she overdosed on Tylenol on TikTok. What is her reason? That's why we really what we are really self-knowledge is the foundation of wisdom. Okay, well, because of her hatred for the man who was elected, was elected by her, by her country, because of her hatred for him, she endangered her child inside, and now she's going to die. Why? She believed. Okay, she believed. Okay, whatever lies. At the same time, she because of lack of self knowledge. Okay, how can you do such a stupid thing? Forgive me, but such a stupid thing. Okay, so who suffered? The baby inside the womb, and the husband who is going to lose you as a wife, and you lose your life. You call that wisdom? Because it says here, the greatest thing in the world is to know how to belong to yourself. Okay? Second, fear multiplies pain. Courage reduces it. That's the second lesson we get from Montan's, work. Fear multiplies pain. But courage reduces it. The courage to know the truth from the lie. The courage, to separate your hatred for one man, okay, versus, the wisdom of what? Of taking care of the baby in your womb, okay, and taking care of yourself, okay. That requires courage to separate what you feel from what is true, isn't it? Okay. The other one, humility about our flaws is the beginning of authenticity. Oh, the 21st century keeps on using the word authentic, authentic, authentic. Sometimes it loses its meaning already because it's already prostituted. What is the meaning of being authentic? Be your authentic self. No, don't be this and don't be that. It simply means knowing who you are and living accordingly. Okay? So, who you are means you aren't perfect. Okay, I am not perfect. We are not perfect. Humility makes us accept that reality, that truth. Okay? Some people can make mistakes. Yes, we have to be compassionate and forgive them for that. Because we make mistakes too, and we hurt people inadvertently though. We do hurt people. So we would appreciate, a little compassion and a little kindness from them. But to think that only us have the monopoly of the right things. So we will do it our way. Even if the reality and the fact is there, okay, is for me, I think, the epitome of arrogance, the epitome of pride, and the epitome of stupidity. Okay? Those are my words, okay? Not Montan's word, but I think, he'll agree with me. Okay? So it takes courage to even talk about this to you. Because some of you may not want me anymore, listening to me anymore. Okay, so be it. I hope not. I plead not, but then again, okay, I respect all our beliefs. So, in closing, maybe we'll reflect on this. My friends, my wise and fascinating, okay, Renaissance friends. Montaigne leaves us with this: to live well, we must know ourselves, okay? And to know ourselves, we must dare to be honest, okay? Okay, he says to live well, it's worth repeating. To live well, we must know ourselves. And to know ourselves, we must dare to be honest. Okay, and let me add, for us to be honest, first, we have to be humble. Okay? We cannot be honest until we are humble. Okay, then again, my friends, this is episode 136, okay, in our series, okay? And if you resonate with any of this, please continue the engagement, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, My Season of Life with Miss Malu, okay, Cervantes, okay, 60 years and beyond. And this is episode 136. Goodbye.